Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 32 of the Own the Map Challenge here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, as promised last episode, we have moved into November. We did get a lot accomplished in October, but that doesn't mean there isn't some work that needs to be done yet on the farm before the snow flies. Now, Bill brought back this big beast that he was using to mulch the fields. It needs some fuel, a little bit of grease, but Harold is going to jump in that this morning, and he's going to head out and he's going to mulch the last field that needs to be done. That's the river field that's south of the house, across the road there. Now, the girls managed to get all of the baling done, and so these machines now have been switched over to do rock picking. We have not done any rock picking yet, so that all needs to be done. So they're going to get going on that here in a little bit, and Bill's going to help them out getting started with that. And Sam's going to carry on with the plowing. His machine's sitting across there. He just finished yesterday plowing that big field you can't see on the other side of those trees. And he's going to head and plow the fields near the home place. So that's what everybody is going to be up to this morning. So we're going to get all those pieces moving, and then we're going to join Sam and get some footage of him plowing in a cinematic, as you might guess. So that's where we'll meet next. So sit back and enjoy the tunes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that cinematic, but we've left Sam there to finish up. He certainly doesn't need us hanging around taking pictures. And we've come down here to sell a load of bales that I picked up earlier. And I'll show you where and why these particular bales got picked up in just a little bit here. But first, let's get these sold so we can carry on with this job. Now, really on the farm, we're at the place where any of the work that's left doing, if we had to shut it down because of weather, it could be done in the spring, but just like to get as much of it done as we can in the fall. You know what? We should take a look at the money. Speaking of updates and things, let's just go in the map here. So with that bale sale, we're at 412,921. And of course, there is no more contract income coming in. Now this field right in front of us, that's well, off to our left, I guess, actually, but right in front of the camera, that's the last field we need to buy. And it is actually sitting empty because we've made an agreement with the owner. We want to purchase it, but we're not going to do that till after we sell the crop, basically the dried corn here later in the winter. And so we've got whatever cash from that to put down on it. He agreed to leave that field empty. It did have, fairly routinely have barley in it, and we had no use for barley. Now, I did put manure on all of the fields that we had canola in, and I put it down actually at a rate of 25 kgs per hectare, I believe it was. We put down just a little over 300,000 liters. Yeah, 300,000 liters of manure. We still have, with the manure that has since been produced, close to that number still in the bunker. So more than enough to do our grass field, which still needs to be done, and it'll probably be the job I do after this, but I will do that off camera. We've seen enough of that, I think, for the time being. But that all worked out, and that's going to be kind of be our routine. I don't know if we'll be able to put it on that heavy in the future, if our cows will make that much manure, because we're not getting any more cows. Our pen's pretty much full. But we'll do our grass field, the one that's actually field grass, and the field that we'd be, if we could drive through that fence and over those trees we'd hit, which is going to have oats in it for Sam. That one we're going to do entirely with manure. Now, while we're down here at this end of the field, we might as well, we drove the truck across once, we'll drive it across again. But what the plan is we're going to put a road in along this fence line from that gate that we used along the fence line and across here. And I was thinking of putting a bridge in, but you know what I think I might do? Is I might just bring this level up and simulate that we've got a culvert in, although there's no culvert in the game, I don't think. Look, maybe there's something decorative we can do, I'm not sure. But, we can cross there, it's not bad. But of course, when water comes, that's not going to be a good crossing. So we need to do something there. This fall's been really dry, so it wasn't a problem for us to get across. Now, the reason that we picked up the bales, it was from this area, is for this. Sam wanted to get some contractors in to start the groundwork on what he's planning on doing here. So, I mean, obviously he's got more landscaping that's going to need to be done, but there was a bit of a hill here, so he had a contractor come in and kind of level things out. And where we are right now is going to be like a garage, like a shop, I guess, is what you call it, a shop, or an oversized garage with a workshop, so we can have a few vehicles down there. And here is where his house is going to be. Going to have a pretty nice view. He's got planning on putting a house with a nice front porch on it. He was originally thinking of down in that corner and backing it into those trees, which is a nice location, but it's pretty low, and that, may not be too good for flooding. So moved it up here onto the hill. And so that construction is going to go on this winter, from what I understand. Now, I do know he was talking about putting it, in that little area um, that we looked at by the field, but they decided they didn't want to be that close to the road or to the farmer's market there. Um, Kind of when we got up here working, they kind of came and picked that spot out. So, yeah, I think it was a good move. That's going to be a nice location. So it's all this area up here is going to be used. It's going to put in a small cow barn, I think. He'd like to have some dairy cows and a horse pasture, probably a chicken coop. But this is what this area is going to be reserved for. I don't think he's going to do anything else in here. May come and mow a little grass, I don't know. But this area across the creek, it's a little bigger than we thought. And so Sam and I have been talking, and it is undecided at this point if we'll just leave it like this at meadow grass and take silage bales off it, or if we will actually put a crop in it. But that's a decision that we can make next spring. We don't need to worry about that right now. Going to stay the way it is for the time being anyway. But we were originally planning on taking some of this fencing out and putting a bridge across here so he could cross from where his house is going to be into the animal area that he was going to put down here by the farmer's market. But I think he did the right thing. I think he'll be happy up there. Now that leaves this little spot. It's actually going to be coming into view here right away. That's why I'm heading down this way. We did mow it up because we weren't sure where the building was going to happen. So he did want to kind of get the grass off so he could have a good look at the lay of the land, so to speak. And we're not sure what to do with that little piece across there that we're looking at with those few bales in it. I think what we're going to do with it is almost nothing. We're going to take out a fence, I think, along the road, or some of it, and I just use it for a staging area for harvesting the fields down here. Yeah, never know. Maybe we put a shed so we can, store our equipment overnight under cover or something. But no big plans for it now that he's not going to use it for his house area. So I'm going to carry on picking up these bales. As you can see, doing it this way is not going to take too long. And that will let us know where our money is going to be at until such time as we can sell some crops, which is around, well, actually either next month, December or January, is kind of when peak price lands for that dry corn. Then we can finalize the deal on our final field, but we will still need to work our way out of debt because we'll have a fair bit of debt that we need to take care of. Oh, is that full? It is full. Oh, all right. I guess we're not going to pick up any more if the trailer's full. We'll get these bales sold off, and then I think what we'll do is maybe we'll go and take a look at the girls doing some rock picking. We haven't seen that done on camera for quite a while, I don't think. Oh, geez, we got some on the back. We got bales everywhere. There we go. And just for curiosity, that took us up to 464. So we'll have a nice chunk to put down on that field, I'm thinking. But it is $2.5 million. So let's go catch up with the girls and see how they're making out. So we're going to do that, as you might have guessed, in a cinematic. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Well, I hope you enjoyed that cinematic. I'm up here at the manure pit, as you can see, loading up the manure spreader. And this should be the last bucket here, I think. And I know I said I wasn't going to spread any manure this episode on camera, but like Elvis said, that was just a lie. I find myself in a position I don't know that I've ever been in before. Certainly not for a while, that's for sure. I need to stretch an episode a little bit. What normally happens when I figure I have like 10 minutes information to share, it takes me 15 or 20 minutes to share that information. And this time, while picking up bales, I only took just a little over 10 minutes. That is unheard of. So I find myself a little short of content. And this is the last thing that there is to do on the farm that we haven't seen some of already. There is some bales that need to be picked up, and there is some plowing and rock picking to be done, but that is it, other than this manure spreading. So, manure spreading it is. Oh, you can see Sam there working on that field. You can see he just about done. He's got a little bit, but he's certainly a long ways to being completed. So let's head out of here. Now he's got, once he finishes this field, he's got this little field up here on my left, and then the river field, and I'll point that out when we can get a little better look at it. So I think he'll be done plowing today. I don't think he'll have any trouble getting that finished up. Harold has finished the mulching, so then we'll be down just to getting those last bales picked up and sold, and the rock picking. And, you know, if it were suddenly to snow, we could leave the rock picking this spring. That wouldn't be an issue. Because I don't think that'll be done today. Although it does go pretty fast with that rock picker, but I think it's more than we can get done in a day. That field straight ahead of us there across the way, I now call that the river field because I combined a couple fields there. And turns out the river runs all along the south edge of that field, so it seemed like an appropriate name. And that'll be the last one that Sam has to plow up. Now we better check for traffic here before we go out on the road. We do have our do not hit me flashers on, but that doesn't mean they still won't if we don't look. Alright. So when we were doing this the last time, it was on the cornfield, and we weren't using the crop sensors, and we weren't using automatic application rate, which we are doing here. So we get the field perfectly fertilized. The corn ones, again, just putting down at a rate of 25, I believe it's kgs of nitrogen per hectare is what that setting is. 25 something, anyways. And there was some residual nitrogen, so I used that number because that took us in some areas of the field like halfway home, and other areas of the field, you know, maybe only a quarter of the way home. But I was just kind of judging how much manure we had. And speaking of that, after this load out of that bunker, we are down to 300,000 liters. But we'll need one more load to finish this field if history repeats itself. But we'll still have plenty of manure come springtime, because we will do Sam's oat field with it, and field 4, the one we haven't bought yet, I think we'll be putting corn in there. So come spring, we'll likely put a layer of manure down on that, because manure in the bunker does us no good, but on the field it saves us fertilizer cost. Now, if I zoom out here a little ways, you can still see I'm getting that block fill kind of happening in behind the spreader. Not quite as noticeable with the manure, it's still doing it. Really super noticeable with the lime, and it also happens when you're mulching, when there's lime on the field. the line disappears in that same block fashion. And it's happening only on this map to me. None of my other maps are doing that, strangely enough. And I did kind of tweak some graphic settings or try some different things to see if I could get rid of it. None of it seemed to have any effect. So, seeing as we are so close to the end here on this series, we're well, I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm just going to try not to show it on camera. That was another reason why I didn't want to do this manure spreading here on camera, but I kind of got forced into it. I was going to say by circumstances beyond my control, but that's totally untrue. It's totally my own fault. All right, there we are. Going to run out any second. There we go. Yes, so that is the story there. Oh, I don't know if you noticed. Well, it looks like my air seat's gone down. Maybe need to lift it up here a little bit. But Sarah, who was driving the tractor doing the rock picking, was appropriately attired this time. Last time she was in a cinematic, she showed up wearing a cased sweatshirt. So we got her a John Deere one, so she was properly attired. And I guess I should mention, speaking of that, I actually have to change my avatar to do that so that I have the avatar I want for a worker. So if you ever see that, you know, at the start of the cinematic, Farmer Murphy is dressed different at the end of the cinematic, or his hair color has changed, or something like that, that's when that's what went on, because I don't take I don't write it down or anything. It's just relying on my memory, which is a very scary thing to get me back to me. So some of you may have noticed that may have happened and I didn't notice it, but that's what's going on there. Because sometimes I do change my avatar, so I got the worker I want in the tractor for the cinematic. This setup here for loading actually is working out pretty good, I must say. Ooh, got a little close there. Scraped a little paint off the rims, but that's okay. It's ours. We own it. All right. Well, you know what, guys? I think that should do it. If it hasn't, it's just going to be a little shorter episode, but I think that should round it out. So uh, I hope you enjoyed the episode. It was fun. It was fun to make. And if you're still with me, I really do appreciate you watching. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And don't forget about that old notification bell if you want to see when other content like this lands. But for this episode here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing